contribute? Well, in the beginning, I thought these personal computers with Apple Computer, they're going to have such application with education. And when we were trying to find business and sales, and they were expensive and hard to operate at first, you couldn't type and run a program yet, I would go down to local schools and show them how these little computers work. They weren't going to buy any, but just to give them a sight of what was coming. The very first Apple I ever, there was a woman who rolled big old computers into an elementary school and taught the kids how to use them a little bit. And I drove up for 2 hours to Northern California with Steve Jobs, and she explained what she did, and then 2 hours driving back, I implored Steve Jobs, we should give her the first Apple I that we manufactured. We should give it to her. These computers are going to have a big place in education. And Steve wouldn't go for it. He made me buy it for $300 and give it to her. Well, it changed over time. So, but the whole idea, I thought by putting technology in schools, we're going to improve education. Let's go to a much later bit, in the 90s. And the internet is just about to come on. And I was, of course, giving lots of computers to schools. Schools were just getting wired. They were getting their first computer labs ever. And I'm talking about K-12 schools. And I was giving them, and I thought, you know what? Those of us who have money, it's just easy to give. It doesn't have real meaning. If you believe in something deep inside your heart, you give yourself. You sacrifice a lot. And I decided I would start teaching. I always wanted to be a teacher after an engineer. And I wound up getting involved in teaching for 8 years of my life. I got up to full-time every day of the week, 7 days a week teaching. 5th graders mainly, 6th through 9th graders, teaching classes of teachers, and I enjoyed it a lot. So much, but I did come up with other ideas. These computers, did they make the students come out smarter? It became a tool that gave you some advantages, but today it's sort of the commonplace tool. Everybody has the same advantage. Access to the internet, learning how to use it is important. Everyone does, just like they learned how to write letters back in the old days. So I thought these computers would make a difference in how smart people came out, and I don't really see the smartness aspect. People able to think faster, think of more things, and make correct decisions any better. And I'm hoping that someday that happens, and the problem is you put a good device, a computer, into a bad system. Or let's not call it a bad system, a system with regular ways it works, and you didn't change the way the system worked. The system goes at a common pace for every single student to learn the same pages on the same day and have the same questions on the test on Friday. And what we call intelligence is your grade. And your grade is having the correct answer, the same correct answer as for everyone else. And it's not your answer. So that's part of the problem. The schools don't let you have, every student can follow their heart's desire, go off in the directions they want to go as far and as fast as they want. If they have trouble, they can go slow or not do certain things that they don't like to do. Well, the only way that's ever going to be achieved, I came up with, was probably something close to one teacher per student. Could a computer be that teacher? We're starting to play with, these massive online courses on the internet, and so many people can just go on and on their own pace. And if you're very inner-driven, I was very much an introvert, that might work for a few people. Go on and learn myself, learn this subject, learn this subject, learn this subject. You can do it, but you know what? Students tend to want a human guide. And these computers aren't yet like a human. When they get conscious, maybe in 20 years, maybe every low-cost computer could be the most trusted teacher guide in the world and let every student in the class go off in different directions, and they can go much further than what their teacher in their current classes knows.
Online tutoring, because you're going to get that one-to-one interaction back then.
Well, tutoring implies, with a real human over it. That's so big, but you're still going to need one teacher per student if it's really fully one-on-one. I want this computer teacher to look at my facial expressions and judge if I'm having a hard day, to let me wipe some sweat off or rest when I needed to, say you don't look so well. I want it to emotionally relate to me and have feelings about me. And then for not just me, everybody's different, but for the wide masses, that could happen someday. And the only reason I say it is you have to come up with an idea that nobody could have said for the last 200 years. If you say, oh, we need more engaging courses, we need the students to be goal-oriented, we need to set up, run our classes in a certain way, You could say all these good things about schooling, and the funny thing is, you're not smarter than anybody was 200 years ago. They were saying the same things. Or 100 years. We had a real human approach. We had a very usable computer. But you know what? There were no big companies that thought we were going to be big business. So the other big computer companies weren't putting all their marketing efforts into killing us and keeping us out of the press. We were getting the popular press, front pages of normal newspapers saying 2 young kids are going to have computers that people could buy. You know, we had positive press everywhere, so we were just blessed to have such great success. And as I said before, the product was so good, it was going to be it was going to support the Apple's total source of revenues for the first 10 years.
Let's talk about happiness a little bit. Your book talks quite a bit about happiness. It seems hard for anyone in any career to define their definition of happiness. Engineers, artists, doctors, teachers, we all fall victim to the stresses of our jobs. You have changed the world with technology. You've built vast wealth. You've become an icon. Are these the things that make you happy?
No, things that make me happy actually come from a point in my life when I was forming, my personality was solidifying around, end of high school, first year of college, that kind of thing. And I got formulas for happiness that weren't going to depend upon life income or anything like that, or success in business. It was really based upon just things like how you treat people, what kind of person you are. And I really did realize that I wanted to be the guy that did a lot of jokes, told a lot of jokes, played a lot of pranks, laughed and laughed. Hey, that's the feeling I want to have died with, and not I kept all the divisions of a company running. I didn't want to be that. I read about meditation and getting your mind to a very soft state. I did a lot of self-meditation in a way, and just finding really peaceful settling states, not getting mad at things. And my formula, happiness is the most important thing in life. And my formula for happiness that I came up with, I had a lot of principles that weren't part of the formula, but it was smiles minus frowns. The frowns is the key. How do you stop frowns? Well, if you buy a brand new car and it gets scratched right away, who cares? Cars get scratched. Now I don't frown. I never do. Anyone who knows me will tell you this, things that happen just happen, and it's unfortunate. And I won't say I never frown, because I do frown when computer software doesn't work the way it should. And then later I changed my formula after I put on a rock concert, and Steve Jobs said, "You're not rock and roll, you're about computers." And so I said, well, I started thinking, well, entertainment is a big part of life too, of happiness. So I changed my formula to H equals F cubed, 3 Fs. Food, fun, and friends. Food is a metaphor for the necessities of life. You have to have that to be happy. Fun is entertainment, jokes, and comedy, and laughing. And friends. You couldn't do this all. We couldn't even done Apple if the right friends hadn't been around us making us feel it was valuable. Well, when I told that to my high school while they were putting me into the Hall of Fame there, I had to go to the microphone and say, oh, there might be a 4th F.
How do honesty and truth play into that? I know your book mentions them quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, part of my philosophies for life and feeling good about myself were, told myself, the most important thing, I had a very strict dad about ethics. He just brought us up. You are who you say you are. You keep your word. Honesty to me. Mathematics is honest. 2 + 2 = 4. It's in the math. It's in the science. And I was so good at all the science and math, and I got the math awards in my schools. And I thought, that's sort of like honesty. I'm going to put honesty at the top of everything. Always try, no matter what you find is the right or the wrong answer, the best way to go. Always speak honestly, and don't distort facts. Don't distort the words. Be accessible today. I answer every question, and I answer them honestly, which is one of the reasons it'd be very hard to actually be an executive in a big company like that. So, and it makes me feel very good. It's hard to get across. I was a little disappointed when we had the internet, and finally the internet got faster, and then we had Napster where you could get songs for free that you should buy. And it was difficult because now every young person in college was getting any music they wanted for free, and it was destroying their ethics for the future of their life. They think anything you can get away with is okay, and I don't go with that.